BBC Sounds.
Welcome to Wednesday's Scottish Football Podcast with me, Iona Ballantyne. On Thursday, Hearts face Rosenborg in the second leg of the Europa League Conference qualifiers, with the Edinburgh side trailing 2-1 after last week's encounter in Norway. The game is live on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, on Sports Scene on BBC Scotland and the BBC Sports Scotland website. And to help us look ahead to the game, I'm joined by Hearts head coach Frankie McAvoy and midfielder Cammy Devlin.
The Scottish Football Podcast
from BBC Radio Scotland.
Frankie, how are you doing? How are you finding the start of the season?
Yes, well, I'm fine. I think the squad's starting to take good shape. We've had 3 games, 2 in the league, and obviously the last European tie we lost 2-1 to Rosenborg, which leads us till tomorrow night. We've won 1 of the league games and drew 0-0 on Sunday against Kilmarnock. So all in all, we're doing okay. We just need to be a wee bit more of a threat going forward, I think. Try to be more clinical in the final third of the pitch and get the ball into good areas. I think it's important that we're patient tomorrow night. You know, the tie's alive. 2-1, there's 90 minutes that the match goes. You know, in European ties you've got to be prepared to maybe go the full way into extra time as well, and even penalty kicks. So we're prepared as best we can. We're hoping that we're good enough to go and win the game here in front of a fantastic crowd at Tynecastle. But listen, it'll be a tough game.
Can you actually give me your assessment from the game last week? What went right and actually what didn't go right that you now need to take into Thursday? I
think, to be honest, that the wee bit they set off is probably a wee bit more than we thought they would do. Allowed us a wee bit more of the ball. The wee bits that were disappointing for us is that they hit us a few times in the counter in transition, and we knew that that's where they were good. So we need to be a wee bit more mindful of that when we've got the ball in, you know, good areas, and sometimes being a bit patient in terms of making sure that when the gaps open up that we make the right passes and we make the right runs. That was an area that we're a wee bit disappointed with last week, if I'm honest with you. But as the game wore on, I think we became more of a threat, getting to good areas, and when we put decent balls into the box, we caused them a bit of a threat. So they're areas that we've looked at, and you know, we've analysed the game, and hopefully we're a wee bit better prepared tomorrow night.
And Lawrence Shanklin stepping up, was it the 78th minute he got his goal?
Yes, it was indeed. Well, he's a threat, isn't he? I mean, the goals he scored last year were magnificent, or last season, sorry, for us, and he started with 2 and 3, so it just shows you how important a talisman he is for us. He's captain of the club and he's a top player at this club. Just
in terms of the squad right now and kind of the, like you say, the start to the season, a win, a draw and a defeat, how are the squad sort of coming together now and settling in with the new players? Yeah,
I think I said earlier that it probably takes about 4 or 5 weeks before teams gel, when you bring quite a lot of new players and new faces into the squad. But the biggest thing is building good camaraderie. I think we've got that within the group. We've added a few good players in our opinion to the squad. We're obviously looking, you know, maybe another 1 or 2 to make sure we're fully strengthened for a big campaign ahead. So over the piece, we're delighted with the business that we've done. We're just looking forward to getting games played. As I said, big win tomorrow night. So hopefully we pick the right formula to get the correct result.
In terms of the 1 or 2 players that you're looking at, what sort of area are you looking to bolster?
Well, I think defensively is one of the areas that we're looking at as well, and then depending on what happens within the market, whether some maybe move on from us, then would determine where else we look at, if I'm honest with you. But Stephen and Joe deal with obviously transfers, and that's an area that we've sat and we've had a good chat about, and one that we're always keeping a close eye on.
How is the dynamic with Stephen and how are you working together? I know I've kind of read and seen that you you work well together.
I think sometimes people want to make a big deal out of things, don't they? But at the end of the day, we work really well together. We know the position we're in. Obviously I'm head coach, Stephen's the technical director in terms of titles, but you know, I've said Gordon Forrest as well and Paul Gallagher as a group, we work really well together. We work close together. We discuss how we're going to play, what we think the team should be, and we decide that going forward, which we did last 7 games as well. So the dynamics are still very, very much the same, although titles have changed a wee bit.
You've got that wee one up now.
Yeah, but listen, I've said before, Stephen will be the manager of Hearts, and in no too long a time. I think he's a young guy that I think has got a big way in the game. I think he's got a great way about him. He knows what he wants. He's a winner, as I've said before, and for me he'll be a success.
He must be learning and picking up quite a lot from you too.
Well, I hope so. Hopefully he's picking up some good points, but yeah, listen, you always learn as well. I'm learning for Stephen, I'm learning for Gordon and Gal every day as they'll be learning from myself, but the most important thing is that we work together, we've got good dynamics, and the team know exactly what we want from them. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the biggest thing. Talking
about the team, let's look at a few players who are still not ready to come back. Craig Gordon, have you got a timeline on him?
Well, I've not got a timeline yet, but obviously he's had a bad injury, but he's been on the field, with sports scientists and physios, and just trying to make sure that everything's 100% before we really bring him back into the fold for competitive training with the group. What about Lawrence Shankland? There's obviously talk around him just now, and what can you tell us on that at the moment? Not a lot, to be honest. I said to you, it's Joe and Stephen that deal with recruitment and transfers. As far as I'm concerned, Lawrence is a player here at Hearts. He's the captain of our club. He's no intimated to me that he wants to move on. I'm not surprised that there's interest because he's done so well last season. But for me, he's available for selection tomorrow night. Business as usual from our point of view until I'm told otherwise. The Saudi transfer window does close after the Scottish one. Should players move on, how do you ensure that there's someone there to step into that role? Listen, it's a difficult scenario, isn't it? I'd rather just deal with it here and now, if I'm honest. Speculation's always going to be about. But as I said to you, we've added and strengthened in areas that we felt we needed to strengthen in, and we're happy with that at the moment. And if it happens with Lawrence, then I'm pretty sure that we've got people in the background that if it comes, then we would look at them, but it's all hypothetical at the moment. I don't think there's much more for me to say in that matter. Well, Frankie, we are sitting in the stands right now. The sun is very hot. We know that the stadium is going to be full tomorrow night. How important is it for you to put on a good performance and really get these fans behind this team? Yeah, I think it's massive. I think Rosenborg will come, they've probably been about in Europe, but this is a fantastic stadium when it's full. I don't think there's any questions about that. It's a real daunting task for them to come here. We just need to make sure that we get our selection right, we're ready to go, but at the same time, I said earlier, we need to be patient as well and make sure that we do the right things in the game. There's a lot that we need to make sure that we manage properly, because their biggest threat is obviously in the counter. We conceded 2 last week against them from transition. We need to be mindful of that. I think we'd be stupid if we don't, but we've kept everything in mind with our game plan going forward, and hopefully with this fantastic support behind us we can come out with a positive result. And just tell me about the season ahead. What is the main aim, what's the goal? Well, the main goal at the moment is just full focus in Rosenborg to hopefully get through to the next round and to win as many games as we can. Obviously we want to get into the position where Aberdeen are this season, where it's automatic into Europe, isn't it? That's got to be our goal in the league. This is the most important thing going forward. So third is what we need to try and do, and that would be our aim. I think if I told you any differently, then I think a big club like Hearts, our fans would demand that. I think that's the least that we need to try and aim for, and hopefully if we can get ourselves through in the next round, it puts ourselves into a good opportunity to get ourselves into the group stages of the Conference League. So everything to play for tomorrow night, and we're well aware of that. Right, Frankie, all the best on Thursday night. Thanks so much. Thank you very much. Well, thanks to Frankie for chatting to us, and with us now is Australia midfielder Cammy Devlin. Cammy, tell me, how are things? How's the season been for you so far?
Obviously early days, but no, really enjoying it. Obviously had a shorter pre-season because us Aussie boys were in camp, so we got a little bit more time off back home, which was really nice. But no, it's been really good. Obviously undefeated in the league, which is obviously ideal, and a massive game tomorrow night, which we're really looking forward to. You say undefeated in the league, 2 clean sheets as well. That must be quite pleasing, even though maybe not the result against Kilmarnock that you wanted, but still good to take from. Yeah, definitely not the result we wanted, especially when we come here. We always want to win when we're at home. But yeah, 2 clean sheets, which is something we've really focused on this pre-season, is being solid defensively, and I think we really have been. But not winning here a couple of days ago and then having the chance to rectify that tomorrow is massive, and just can't wait.
What's it like working under Frankie and Stephen at the moment?
Yeah, really good, really enjoying it. It's obviously nice sometimes to have a fresh start. I obviously was super grateful for the old gaffer for bringing me over here and giving me the chance to live out my dream over here, and obviously having a fresh start with Stephen and Frankie is unreal, and really enjoying it. It's a new challenge and obviously a different way of playing, but yeah, absolutely loving it. It's a good vibe going into training every day, and just about bringing that onto the pitch.
Rosenborg Thursday night, that is huge here at Tynecastle, isn't it? Rosenborg obviously taking the 2-1 lead at the moment. What will you do differently? How different will tomorrow feel now?
Yeah, it's obviously a massive game. We were in a similar position last year against Zurich but we had the Conference League to fall back on, which we don't have tomorrow night. So it obviously adds that little bit more pressure of needing to win the game. But having that experience last year, I think, is massive for a lot of us boys, and for the boys that haven't had it, it's about leaning on that and leaning on us boys that have kind of been through it. And I think coming here under the lights is a special place to be, and our fans will obviously, like they always are, be right up for it. And it's about us as players to just go out on the pitch and take the game to them, come out the blocks quick, which we haven't really done so far, but something that we've really focused on this week is coming out the blocks as quick as we can. But in saying that, in terms of if we don't get an early goal or put them under pressure early, it's about staying patient. We've got to play the whole game, and if that means scoring right at the end, then so be it. And yeah, something that I think us boys will thrive off, and just can't wait.
Coming out the blocks quick, why has that not happened?
Yeah, I don't know. We've like I said, we've focused a lot on being defensively solid, and it's about putting the whole piece together now. And we obviously got done twice last week against Rosenborg from our mistakes and on the counter, and we've really spoke about after the Kilmarnock game about we've looked at that and how we can fix that. And sometimes when we've got the ball as well, being organised at the back is something that we've talked about, and we've got to just take the game to them. And like I said, if we're defensively solid like we have been in the league, then I'm sure we'll be okay. You
mentioned the new boys come in. How are they settling in? And obviously there's another Aussie in the squad. Have you taken him under your wing?
Hey, of course. There's so many of us. We're nearly a team of Aussies. But no, it's obviously good having that feeling at home when you go to work every day on the other side of the world. And there's 4 of us now, and it's been really good. Callum's settling in. Obviously, it'd be a shame for him last week that he didn't get to come. His visa or wasn't ready, but he'll be here tomorrow, and I'm sure he'll be absolutely buzzing for it. His first taste of European football, and all the new boys are settling in well. It's so nice to get new faces in and to show them obviously what this beautiful city that we get to live in. And their first taste of Tynecastle was on the weekend, and they get another one tomorrow and a European night, which is always that extra bit special. There's no better place to be, and it's about us as players. That's our job to make that happen, and that starts tomorrow. We didn't do it as well as we probably should have on Sunday against Kilmarnock, but it's a good thing about being here. You've got games every few days, so we got a chance to change that tomorrow. It's so exciting, and yeah, just can't wait for tomorrow, and especially to be here.
What about you? What is your focus for Thursday?
To win the game, to be honest. I think tomorrow's a bit different in terms of we're behind going into a game already. So like I said, we've got to come out the blocks quick, but in saying that, patience is such an important word tomorrow in terms of our play. If it's 0-0 into the 70th minute, and we've got a game plan that we've got to play, and if that means that play that game plan into the 90th minute and then we go and score a goal, then so be it. And the focus is the same in terms of how you prepare and all that, but yeah, it's just so important to get through to the next stage.
Let's talk about the Aussies in the squad. 4 of you now, as you mentioned. That's 2 years for you here at Tynecastle. Can you believe that?
I was talking to my mum and dad the other day about that and how quick it feels like the first day that I was here, and that feels like it was only last week. But I've absolutely loved it. I love going into work every day. To have the opportunity to come from the other side of the world and play here every other week is super special, and I absolutely love being here. And I can speak on behalf of all the Aussie boys and the other boys in saying that. And yeah, just consider myself really lucky to be here, and yeah, just absolutely loving it.
Is there anything in terms of Scotland or the Scottish people that you're still trying to get on board with?
No, I think I'm pretty good with the slang and all the words. I remember when I first come, when 2 Scottish people were having a conversation, they may as well have been speaking a different language because I didn't understand a word they were saying. But I try and join in with a bit of the slang now, and I'm almost there. I live in Edinburgh, and the people are they're so nice, and when you're out and about town and you get the fans coming up to say hello, and you know, they ask the same stuff, are you enjoying it and stuff like that, I think is really nice. And my family have come over, my mum and dad, and my brother and my sister have come, so they've got to see, you know, how I'm living over here, which is really cool. And yeah, absolutely love it. Love the city, and yeah, just love being here.
Your whole family, I know, were watching the Matildas. For you, seeing the Women's World Cup take place in Australia, does that kind of fill your heart with pride? Yeah,
it's so cool, to be honest. Like I said, I had 12 of my family members at the game tonight, and that's just on your doorstep in Sydney. So cool, and so proud of the girls for how well they did. Such a shame we were watching it, all us Aussie boys today, had our phones up after training today, watching them and supporting them, and yeah, gutted for them, but keep their heads high because they've just made the semi-finals of a World Cup on their home turf, which is, yeah, super special, and probably not something that comes around very often, having a World Cup on your doorstep. So I think the whole of Australia have got behind them. I think they've had sold out crowds their last few games, and that's unheard of for football in Australia. So I'm just so happy for all of them, and they should be so proud of themselves, and it's just made football that little bit more important, I think, which is super special. I think the boys at the World Cup, the Men's World Cup last year, did so well to be knocked out by the eventual champions is obviously unbelievable, and then to get out the group stage, which we haven't done, I think, since 2006, was such a cool thing to be a part of. But then it would have been so much cooler if it was in Australia. So for the girls to get to the semi-finals and so close to, you know, making the World Cup final, which is just cool saying that, in Australia is unbelievable. And like I said, they should be so proud of themselves, and all the people of Australia, just the community getting behind them and packing out stadiums, and yeah, it's so good, and hopefully long may that continue. And you must be enjoying your time when you do get to link up with the national side too. Yeah, it's the best thing, to be honest, and that's why I'm so grateful for coming to a club like this, because then that's put me on the path to then get picked for the Socceroos. And I think you can speak on behalf of anyone in any code, any sport, or any, not even sport, just anything representing your country is probably the biggest thing that you can, the most proud thing that you can do, and that's no different for me. It was probably the best moment of my career so far, and yeah, to go to a World Cup is, I can't believe that I've still had the chance to do that, and one of the coolest things, and for the boys to do so well, and, you know, get out the group stage, beat Denmark and Tunisia, and yeah, it was just such a cool experience. And yeah, every time I get that call that I'm going into camp is, yeah, pretty special. Tell me about Messi's shirt. It's safe. It's safe. Yeah, that's what I mean. You get experiences like that. Not only that, but just getting to see him and Mbappe and all these players that you've watched on TV. And when I was back home, me and my little brother would get up at 3 a.m. to watch him and that sort of stuff. And then to, you know, be in person and watch him run about and that, and see your mates, you know, going up, tackling him and that. It's just the coolest experience, and stuff that you can't even imagine that would become a reality. But now that I've actually experienced it, it's just, yeah, so cool. And then that moment with Messi was obviously just weird, surreal. But no, I've got to see him twice now, in obviously at the World Cup, and then in China in the off season we played against him, and haven't had the chance to tackle him yet, which I'm hanging for. But no, just to see him in person and see him play is, yeah, just a pleasure. Where's the shirt now? It's locked up safe back home. It's locked up safe, yeah. No, not here, in Australia. I left it with my mum and dad. It's just, I think it's in a bank somewhere, safe. I don't know. I gave it to my mum and dad, and they've done something with it. I just said, keep it away from me, because I'll wear it in public or something silly, because it was too cool. But no, they've done something with it. I don't even know, to be honest. But no, they've got it safe, I'm sure. Did you try it on? Nah, I didn't. Did you not? No, I remember getting back from the game. Obviously, I was gutted because we got knocked out, but the next day when it all kind of settled, had it on my bed just looking at it, and that was just, yeah, it was weird, but so cool. Obviously, he took your shirt. No, I think it's still on the ground in the change room. They all walked all over it, I think. Oh, Cammy. No, honestly, it's brilliant. And then actually just back to Hearts and playing here and being in Scotland, what are your kind of main goals and your focus for the season ahead, and what do you want to achieve with this club? Well, the main thing that I want to achieve, especially being here for 2 years now, I've been in a cup final which we unfortunately lost, and obviously the short term I want to win tomorrow night. That's my main focus right now, but obviously get back into European group stage football to give, you know, the new boys and all us boys that chance again to play in European football and give the fans the opportunity to, you know, get on those European trips, which I know were some of their best memories and some that they'll remember for a very long time. Obviously finish as high as we possibly can in the table, and I want to win a trophy with Hearts. That's something that I'm really hungry to do, and obviously we got close in that cup final. We lost in extra time, but that's something I want to do. I think that would be so fitting to the success we've had in recent years, and winning a cup here would be, bringing it back here would be pretty special.
So we'll catch up with you after that then.
Hey, please.
Cammy, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Well, thanks to Hearts head coach Frankie McAvoy and midfielder Cammy Devlin for joining me on today's Scottish Football Podcast. Hearts against Rosenborg is live on Thursday on Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland, on Sports Scene on BBC Scotland and the BBC Sports Scotland website. And the Scottish Football Podcast drops every day. Don't miss an episode. Just head to the BBC Sounds app and hit subscribe. Thanks for listening.
The Scottish Football Podcast
from BBC Radio Scotland.